YouTube! What the crap's going on? Welcome to the beautiful void of Hellfin, where a small piece of glorious paradise real estate can be yours for only the cost of your soul in warpstone. I don't even know what warpstone is, but sure, there's a lot of it over there. So this is going to be a giant 3v3 battle because so many of you babies were like, "Oh, Heir, we can't take any more of your Bretonnia faction focus. Please." Okay, fine, I'll have mercy on you. No, I get it. I showed a lot of Bretonnia battles. I'm just giving you all a hard time. So yeah, I wanted to bring you some variety. So here you go. I got a 3v3. I did have another viewer ask a question like, "Heir, how come you don't play all your battles anymore?" I do play battles, but I try to show a variety too. Like if it's just me playing battles, I'm worried it will get old. So I do play battles. I only have so much time to play battles, so I try and send. And then I also feel like hopefully this makes it more of a community thing, where you all feel like you get to be a part of the channel when you're able to submit replays and I'm able to cover them. So we've got a Wood Elf Arguelon alliance here. Look at all these wild riders coming straight into Demigryph Knights with halberds. I'm not sure if that's going to be good or not. They do outnumber them pretty considerably. And so it's Bretonnia and the Wood Elf allies up against Clan Angrand, Empire, and Dwarves. So that is going to be a lot of stunties on the battlefield. Interesting choice. And you got the Void over here making up a rather interesting obstacle in the battlefield. Ooh, we got a Hellblaster volley gun over here. Hex, yeah. This unit is actually pretty decent if you can keep it alive long enough to fire. There's a very, very limited number of times that that'll be useful in multiplayer, but it's quite a fun unit in campaign, and it can be put to pretty devastating use against the right units. It's been buffed a little bit, but it's still just very expensive. Kind of hard to make it cost effective in multiplayer. Anyway, you can see the forces of the Wood Elves charging headlong into a huge line of Dwarf Warriors for Clan Angrand. We even got the Scolder Guard laying it on here. They're protected by Flagellants, which probably won't last long in the face of so many tree kin. There is a Great Cannon back here as well. Ooh, those Scolder Guard. Already feeling the wrath of the tree kin. We're saying, welcome to the jungle, where we got fun and games. That's right. Ooh, how'd y'all like that lame joke? I always bring it to a new low, folks. Always. As low as the void of Hellfin. However low that is, because it is a void, and I'm not sure we do know where the bottom of it is. In any case, here comes the Glade Lord, which I'm going to assume is a Glady. Does anybody not bring the Glady? This may not be the Glady. It's the Glady. At least I'm pretty sure it is. So that was a pretty nice Arrows of Kurnos right there. And there's no skirmishers over here whatsoever to punish this Glade Lord for just sitting right above them and dropping down the Arrows of Kurnos at a nice angle. So it looks like the Wood Elf player just completely sacrificing themselves here. The Hellblaster volley gun having racked up 45 kills already. This crew is not letting up. And if they have enough ammo in this thing, which they very well might, I haven't looked. If it stays alive long enough, I would think it can get a considerable number of kills. It's firing right now back here at these Blade Guard with Hagbang tips. Probably not a bad idea to kill some of the archers, though there might be more armored units that would be a more practical target, but at this point in time, I don't think it really matters. Looks like Bretonnia is ready to join the engagement. I'm sure my CPU is melting trying to run this at Quad HD. In any case, yeah, we got the Foot Squires entering combat. Oh, look at that beautiful flame cannon. Oh, roasted Bretonnian peasant, anyone? Gorbel approves. That's like his favorite restaurant is the roasted peasant. Or the charbroiled peasant. Either way. Wow, that flame cannon, though. That was pretty nice. So we got some good artillery on the battlefield. There's an organ gun here, too, and it has cleaned up 81 kills already. Can't keep up with the Hellblaster volley gun, apparently. And then there's another Scolder Guard, or the same Scolder Guard, if it survived. And if it gets an angle, which it is really hard for the Scolder Guard to fire without being interrupted, you can see right now that they are blocked. And over here we have a huge, giant ball of dwarves. A frame-killingly giant ball of dwarves. There's a lot of Hawk Riders flying over the top of this. Look at that flame cannon. Still just absolutely roasting Bretonnian peasants. Searing their flesh to the exact temperature that Gorbel enjoys. What do we got over here? Some Grail Guardians rolling around. Not a whole lot of action for them yet. But there is a lot of cavalry up here. We even got Royal Pegasus Knights and King Luan Leoncoeur. Oh, these poor Demigryph Knights. horrendously outmatched here. They're going to be supported by some spearmen with shields, but I think it's going to take a little bit more than that to stop the incoming onslaught here, though. I could be wrong. Let's check the artillery here and see how it's going. Hellblaster volley guns, 96 kills, but they're now trying to reposition. And it looks like the organ guns silenced by the Hawk Riders, at least for the moment. Oh, this is killing the frame rates. I don't have a counter up right now, but I can tell. Check out those Hawk Riders. Yeah, apparently the dwarves don't like to go bird watching. Not exactly one of their mountain hall activities. And they also don't like forest, apparently, because this type of thing happened every time they went camping when they were young lads. So we got a bunch of dwarf warriors and slayers here trying to hold out. So it looks like the original allied team here, we'll call them, the yellow team, is making some nice inroads on the flank here, having wiped out the Empire defenses on this flank. But the Hellblaster volley gun's still very much alive, though nearly out of ammo at 100 kills. So the ammo, not a... Whoa, hang on. This is ammunition 53. Does it fire off like multiple amounts of ammunition each time? Let's watch that. Because it says it's kind of low on ammunition, but 53 would tend to make me think, oh my goodness. That cavalry charge, though. The mortar even got 80 kills. I don't know what the Hellblaster volley gun's doing at this point, but it's come up into combat, and at this point it's getting all tangled up. Let's jump back down into here and watch the fight unfold. It's going to be an absolute brutal fight. There's some arrows of Kurnos diving in to the enemy over here, killing a lot of dwarves, it would appear. And then it looks like the Glady is down here on the ground too, helping to try and munch through some stunties. There are a considerable number of stunties in the area. Looks like some wild riders just trying to come in here and stop some of the skirmisher units. Let's see out here this unit of Royal Pegasus Knights cleaning up the flame cannon, so the flame cannon now out of the fight. The organ gun picked up 148 kills. That is pretty respectable. The Hellblaster volley gun is actually still alive. And it looks like it's remounted its artillery piece, maybe. So Hellblaster volley gun not done yet. Oh, look at these Royal Pegasus Knights picking up a nice little dwarf snack here. Wild Riders on one side and the Flyers of Bretonia on the other side. Looks like Beaky having his way there with some dwarfs. Maybe tenderizing him just the way he likes them. We've got some Grail Guardians pouring into the flank over here. Beastly unit. And then back here in reserve, it would appear that we've got a Lore of Life spellcaster and a Glady on an eagle here being held back. Lots of skirmishing troops, but apparently the elves getting hit by some mortar fire here. It is taking a toll on the elf archers, slowly but surely. Let's go check out, see where that mortar's firing from. It's still back here. Mortar's 105 kills. Hellblaster volley gun, 142 kills, only 29 ammo left. It's surely got to die here soon because the questing knights and Grail Guardians ought to chew their way through flagellants at an extremely rapid pace. In the center, the foot squires pretty much wrapped up at this point. There is a Grail relic left, and there is just a huge ball of dwarves over here that are using the cover of a runesmith and Grumbrindle to just kind of chew their way through a lot of elves. There's a tree man here, but he's going to get completely overwhelmed. And these archers probably won't have too much effect on that many dwarves, so at this point I'm wondering, how does the yellow team here overcome the number of dwarves that are still left over there? There are some questing knights, which ought to do quite well, but that is a huge number of dwarves at this point. Come here and watch it. Looks like the questing knights trying to get in here, maybe tear up some of these rangers that are in the background. They are taking some fire. Questing knights ought to be quite good at this role. Luan back here cleaning up more rangers, so it looks like the yellow forces here doing a good job of cleaning up the red team's skirmishers. Skolder Guard, only 3 kills. This is why I rarely choose the Skolder Guard. Although they can cause immense damage, they have to have a clear line of fire. These Treekin over here still going strong, and they've chewed their way through a fairly considerable number of enemies. There's still some foot squires over here supporting as well, which ought to be helpful because there's quite a few great swords and dwarf warriors that are still left. The Empire still has troops out here to the flank that it hasn't committed to outflanking this engagement here, which is a rather odd decision. There's Sigmar's swordsmen and other units that can be brought in. Looks like the Hawk Riders finally going to give way back here, being surrounded by spears. Going after the mortar, which has 121 kills. Only a few shots left, though. Royal Pegasus Knights, a whopping 192 kills, just tanking up on skirmishers. And the dwarfs over here actually slowly but surely being whittled away. This Curse of Unrayr here. Not really sure what that's going to do, but since you have the Sisters of the Thorn, why not use the Sisters of the Thorn? So that's exactly what's happening. These Royal Pegasus Knights still fairly healthy, though there are quite a number of Empire units still in the field. 172 kills, getting some nice last shots from the Hellblaster volley gun there onto a well-armored unit where it's going to count. Let's see what's going to happen here. Spellcaster Lore of Life thrown in at the few remaining Skolder Guard. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's probably a fairly safe bet as long as they steer clear of other units. There's still a Jade Wizard back here, so I don't know if the Empire intends to do any more healing. At this point in the game, I don't know how much magic anybody has left because I haven't caught all the spells. And all this Curse of Unrayr over here. What is it doing? Not really sure. It takes away their speed. Maybe that's useful. It means they can't very well skirmish the Elf Archers. The Elf Archers are absolutely unloading. And when they hit these dwarves in the back, it's actually pretty good. I mean, the dwarves are still immune to the magic, or not immune, but somewhat immune to the magic damage. But at least it bypasses their shield when they hit them in the back. And that mortar's still firing. Will it score some hits? Indeed it will. Right on those foot squires. 2 hits. Quite nice. Not quite a third. But it is continuing to fire, and got a couple of last good hits there. I think it's just about out of ammo. The Sisters of the Thorn have moved their way around. It appears to be a fairly tight battle in terms of the balance bar. Luan is still extremely healthy. He's picked up 100 kills. We've got Grail Guardians over here with 93 kills, very healthy. And a Grail Knight with 138 kills, quite healthy as well. So at this point, the battle's starting to whittle down towards the final phases. The Sword of Coron being used here. That is going to devastate the remaining enemy units that are within its radius. Does it affect? Yeah, it affects any unit who comes within the radius. Wow. Sword of Coron is extremely powerful. But look at all these dwarves. Like I said, they're going to have to deal with these dwarves, and that is going to make this a very tight battle. And it still says there are 13 minutes of battle remaining up on the timer. Good grief. Royal Pegasus Knights crashing in. Look at the number of kills on these guys. 280, 90. Moving right on. I don't know how people ever even played this battle online. I had to lag on for about 3 or 4 hours because it's lagging pretty hard, and I'm not even online with someone. I'm just recording. These Grail Guardians, though, they still have a Damsel Lore of Life to support them. And I do imagine that they are going to tank an absurd amount of damage. Sisters of the Thorn, only 14 kills. Such an expensive unit. I'm not really sure how the Sisters of the Thorn ever really pay for themselves. They just seem like more of a novelty unit than anything. The dwarves are just going to go ahead and start piling into this melee. That's definitely going to favor the healing Bretonnian cavalry here. King Lun Ironhammer is here, but with so many Grail Knights around, that's not going to be good for him. He's going to be potentially dead very, very quickly. Luan is up to 143 kills. Still climbing at a fairly rapid pace. The Glaive Lord, look at it back here, 208 kills, spent all of his time up in the air mostly. He's been down in melee a little bit, but just firing away with the ranged weapon and making use of that. Got 208 kills. The Royal Pegasus Knights here eating a Rune of Wrath and Ruin. It shouldn't do too much to Pegasus Knights. It's better, I think, against larger units, though I could be wrong. Yeah, this big ball of dwarfs here, I think, is at actually fairly decent risk because of this tree man. There's the Elf Archers coming in from one side, and then you have all this Bretonnian cavalry back here, and these Pegasus Knights, 361 kills. That is like absolutely stupid number of kills. I don't know if the dwarfs can hold out against this. I mean, Grombrindle is the Great White Dwarf. Oh my goodness, the frame rates. The frame rates, people. It is something terrible, but hey, I had to show it anyway because it's a lot of fun. So let's see how this plays out. It is down into the final moments of the fight. I'm going to actually zoom off just a little bit so we get better frame rates here and not trying to get too close and absolutely bog it down. Probably should have just backed this off to 1080p whenever I show these huge battles, and I think next time I will. Lesson learned. Lesson learned, folks. Here it comes. We're not giving up now. We've come this far into the replay. Oh my goodness. Luan is up to 160 kills. Grail Guardians at 150 kills. Here comes the Shield of Thorns. Stand your ground. And there are archers pinning in the dwarves from the back. Though the Glade Lord got torn up in a big hurry down in that fight. Had done so much good and then just got wrecked. These questing knights, if they can come around into the back of this blob here, it's going to be absolutely devastating. And that's exactly what they intend to do. So much magic and abilities. The Curse of Anraer, the Sword of Coron. The Sword of Coron is just going to completely castrate the enemy forces at this point. So in what may have been a fairly close finish here, I think that the yellow team is going to gain a massive advantage. Look at the Pegasus Knights right into the back of this blob that is perfectly set up for the Hammer and Anvil. Up against these extremely tanky cavalry units, questing knights, Grail Guardians. Damsel doing her best to support, and it is on. The dwarves are in a fight to the death, though. There's a peak gate guard hammers here. Rune of Oath and Steel, Rune of Negation, everything they can get to protect them. The Glade Lord did come back from routing, and Luan is actually now routing, having stood in the middle of this fight for so long. It's kind of impressive that he lived that long. Another charge from the Glade Lord, coming headlong into the dwarves. Fight actually still somewhat close on the balance bar. We've still got a Glade Lord on the Eagle and the Lore of Life Spell Singer up here, but it looks like they're going to sit back, and Luan's going to do the same and recharge some hit points momentarily. The Dwarf Lord out here still in decent shape, but probably at quite a bit of risk, and I'm guessing the King Lun Ironhammer. No, he's alive. He escaped the melee, and he's chasing these archers over here. That's kind of an odd thing. I cannot believe this guy's alive with all the Grail Knights around. More Shield of Thorns to protect the allied forces against the remaining dwarves. The dwarves are putting up a nasty fight. Look at Grombrindle here. Hardly touched. 106 kills. 525 weapon damage right now. Here comes the Sisters of the Thorn. I'm afraid these sisters may be coming into the wrong fight. They're going to be rather lightweight in a fight of very grizzled heavyweight units here. Here comes the Spell Singer, Lore of Life. Here comes the Ancient Tree Man. And the dwarves are eating a lot of wrath here, but dwarves don't mind fighting this type of defensive battle. They did just lose some of their dwarf warriors with great weapons. There's still two runesmiths, a Peak Gate Guard Hammer, and Grombrindle the White Dwarf in here as well. Grombrindle has got to be one tough cookie here. There's a Rune of Wrath and Ruin coming in on the Treekin. Again, I'm not sure if it's going to do a whole lot to the Treekin, but I'm not really sure if there's better units left to use it on. Maybe Grail Knights. The Grail Knights are almost dead. Grail Guardians over here, 192 kills, significant impact to this fight. This is actually going to be a pretty tight finish. You look at the balance here, and the balance bar still doesn't know which way to call it, though. Luan healing a significant number of hit points. That's with still two runesmiths and Grombrindle, and two runesmiths and Grombrindle is nothing to smirk at. These Peak Gate Guard hammers, too, lasting longer in a fight than I think I've ever seen the hammers last. 100 kills and climbing. Still 32 unit models left, too, despite the low health on that unit. This is quite the slogfest. I have rarely seen a battle go for anywhere near this long on Total War Warhammer. It is pretty interesting to see how this is played out. I thought it was looking like a pretty decisive victory for the yellow team, but the stubbornness of dwarves is apparent, and wow, this is just like some kind of smoke and magic thing going on here. It's just like non-stop. Check out the Shield of Thorns. I think my processor can finally breathe. It's got a little bit of overhead now that most of the armies are dead. So we'll get in here close and get a couple of close-ups here at the end. Yeah, next time I'll turn it down to 1080. There'll still be a ton of frame lag, but I'll turn it down to 1080 the next time that I do one of these big battles, because it will make it a little easier on the viewing experience. But, okay, we got to have some fun. Let's see how it's going. So most of the tree kin just routed. The Glade Lord on the Eagle is still alive. We still have both Runesmiths and Grombrindle. Ooh, Luan landed right in the middle of that. Yeah, you better get out of there, Luan. That's not a fight you want anything to do with. I wonder if this Jade Wizard happens to have any healing that it could impute to the dwarves. I don't know if it would or would not, but that would be a pretty clutch play. Rune of Oath and Steel up, which is more effective now. I think it got buffed. But the flying units of the enemy kind of circling around. Grombrindle was hit by the prey of Aneth Rema. He's going to get charged. It's a pretty nice charge by that eagle, but I don't expect it's going to actually do a whole lot to Grombrindle. He is singled out, and you can see, though, those small units sometimes actually manage to miss the charge of these larger units. Let's see. Looks like the dwarves actually pursuing cavalry back here. They probably ought to just come support Grombrindle, because he is taking a beating over here at the moment with all these units regrouping on him, and he doesn't have any support. And then look at this, the Sisters of the Thorn making themselves extremely useful by delaying the support for Grombrindle. And the unit that I was dumping on might have just clutched out a potential victory here, because Grombrindle being left alone like this for so long cost him dearly in terms of hit points. Now the two Runesmiths come in. There's Rune of Negation, Rune of Oath and Steel. There's still just a few Dwarf Warriors with great weapons hanging around. And the Grumbling Guard, which should have kept some of the Dwarves... Yeah, look at that, fresh. Or, no, hang on. Exhausted. It's the Royal Pegasus Knights who are fresh. That's crazy. Royal Pegasus Knights being fresh. Grombrindle, impressive performance here. Let's take a look at him. 112 kills, I think. Look at that. The Glade Lord on the Eagle routes. The Royal Pegasus Knights are about to give in. Check this out. Stubbornness of dwarves indeed. Just a few dwarfs left. Sisters of the Thorn trying desperately to continue to turn this battle. And Luan is down here as well. But the white dwarf, is he? Oh, I believe the white dwarf, did he just go down? No. Yeah, I saw a hammer fall down, so the white dwarf is still, oh my goodness, chopping that Grail Knight down. And mercilessly attacking Luan, taking a charge in the back there from the Pegasus Knight. Sisters of the Thorn continuing to disrupt Grombrindle. Will it be enough? Let's take a look. Where is... Oh, Grombrindle is getting pretty low, but he's holding his own. Luan has to flee. Two Runesmiths both still alive. Rune of Oath and Steel continuing to go. The Rune Axe of Grombrindle going on right now, too. Which is taking leadership on the enemy units, which that could be a big deal. This is a very close fight. Luan did it. He charged down Grombrindle right there. That aerial charge took the white dwarf off the field. The Sisters of the Thorn continuing to try and do rear charges. The Jade Wizard's broken. Most all other units are broken, so it's just the two Runesmiths. And if Luan can cycle charge them to death, they might win. I'm sure that's what the Bretonnia player is going to try for. Shield of Thorns coming in. Who is casting the Shield of Thorns? Oh, it's from the Sisters of the Thorn. That's actually pretty useful here at the last moment. Runesmith's not the strongest fighters. That one just took a nasty charge. Only 641 hit points with no healing left. You've got one Questing Knight and 3 Grail Guardians. All of this, though, just bouncing the Runesmiths around. This one's pinned down by the Prey of Aneth Rema from the regrouped Glade Lord, which is going to come in for a charge, maybe? And does come in and get the charge. And there is a Runesmith now terrified. So the Runesmith knocked off the field. The Rune of Negation's up, though. But I don't know how one runesmith can pull this off. Maybe it can. Nice Rune of Wrath and Ruin here on the Sisters of the Thorn. It's a great way to play out some of the enemy. If that runesmith comes back from the fight, it's going to be super clutch, but I just don't know what can happen. The Sword of Coron is going down right now from Lewin. That is going to be a brutal debuff here in the late game. And it looks like Lewin has this runesmith singled out exactly the way he wants.
It shall be.
Runesmith's still not out for the count. This one, though, takes a hit to leadership right there. If the leadership gets low enough, I mean, it could very well be susceptible to tear. It looks like the Sisters of the Thorn are going to try and make themselves useful and keep this other runesmith from returning. Lewin is down to 542 hit points, 19 hit points, and 127 left in the 2 Bretonnian cavalry units. It is going to be their end as soon as they take a hit. Wrath and Ruin hitting the Grail Guardians. Shield of Thorns coming in, but I think the Wrath and Ruin... Ooh. It said Pyrrhic Victory, so yeah, it looks like the runesmith broke at just the last second there. That was an intensely close fight for having been such a huge 3v3. I mean, just look at the carnage all over the battlefield. Huge piles, bodies where there was some big fights all over the Void of Helfin. So the Void of Helfin being fed spirits to continue, I guess, the cursed legacy that it looks like it carries on. What a battle, what a battle. Thank you for submitting this. Hope you all could put up with the frame rates. It was a lot of fun. It was a huge funds battle. And I don't know if it was on ultra settings or not. I didn't really pay attention, but look at that. Lewin Leon Kerr, 199 kills. Pretty decent performance out of several units from Bretonnia here. Very notably with the 396 kills and a silver chevron on the Royal Pegasus Knights. Quite a performance indeed. Let's take a look to the Arguelon player. 260 kills on the Glade Lord. Very respectable. And then in the end, 119 kills on the Sisters of the Thorn. Still, though, not a single chevron on these units. So interesting. And then Mr. Robert E. Lee here. With all the Treekin. None of his units get anywhere near his opponents, but he did get some performance out of the Treekin. As we take a look at the Empire player, interesting artillery play there with a double chevron on his Hellblaster volley gun after it was all said and done. Same with the mortar. So pretty cool artillery use from the Empire player. Mercy Seat, the Dwarf player here, with 115 kills off of his Peak Gate Guard. 117 kills with Grombrindle, and look at that, 110 kills on the Slayers. So pretty interesting. Clan Angrund, 2 flame cannons with rank 9. Good grief, neither one of them got anywhere near paying off, but the organ gun there, the 148 kills, probably still not near paying off, but it was a lot of fun to see some of this artillery in the fight. Hope you all enjoyed this one. Appreciate Aura, ZM, Robert E. Lee, Message for Cat Memes, Mercy Seat, and Albert for getting in this battle and entertaining us. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe. There's a button there in the bottom right hand of the video, and subscribing helps me a lot. And make sure that you always get notified of new content. Appreciate MSI for sponsoring this video, and I appreciate you, my awesome viewers, for always coming to watch and leaving comments and interacting and making this a lot of fun. Hope you all enjoyed the break from the Bretonnia faction focus, which I need to summarize at this point. I think I've got enough to do so. We'll wrap that one up and we'll move on to more fun. HeirofCarthage signing out. I'll see you soon.